It's rest day on the Dakar. We're halfway through, and let's have a look at where we live while we're chasing this rally, along with all the competitors, officials, service people, bathrooms, everything travels in something they call a bivouac. It's a traveling circus. It's a giant city that is moving to service these race cars as they run the rally in stages all over Saudi Arabia. The city itself is enormous, and the distances that all these trucks and cars and people cover also enormous. Just in the assistance route, which is what we're doing, we're going to do more than 5,000 kilometers. We're using up almost a tank of gas every day in our car, and after 7 days, 300 miles a day, we're already over 2,000 miles, easily. So that's all part of the fun. There's a camaraderie to the group, and it's international inside of Saudi Arabia. So there's the combination of all these cultures inside the Saudi Arabian culture. Let's have a look at what's going on here. Behind me are 10 semi-trucks. All around me are race vehicles, organizers, competitors, race cars. There's 578 entries in Dakar, and each one of those entries has a crew associated with it. There's all the organizers, there's the catering, there's whatever these are. I don't know if they're offices or apartments or what, but they're at every race, traveling all around the country. It's kind of like we're putting on the Super Bowl here, but moving every couple of days to a new place. And the football players are on a field that's 300 miles long. So the scale of this is very hard for me to wrap my head around. And that's why we're looking at these semi-trucks to kind of give you an idea of this caravan the size of an army. It really is an army. They call it a rally raid. We're raiding Saudi Arabia with race cars. This speaks to my heart because I have a real love and passion for motorcycles and adventure. And here we are in the original paddock. The originals are guys that do Dakar a lot like it was when it started. One person, in this case, one motorcycle, a tent, camping, sleeping out in the desert. In fact, while some people have the luxury of a motorhome or a camper, the majority of the people on Dakar sleeping in tents. And that adds to the ordeal, frankly. You ride all day on your motorcycle, then you got to come back, set up a tent and get ready and bed down in that. And earlier in the rally, it's 40 degrees. So this is adventure. And these guys impress me so much. They're getting up early in the morning. The bikes always leave first. And that's 4 a.m., 4:45, I think. I've seen the first bikes leave the bivouac and head for the start line. In the dark, in the cold, on a motorcycle. I just can't get over it. They're crazy, but they're good crazy. They're living life. Motorcycles are life magnified, and so is the whole Dakar. And here we have catering. 3,000 people come through here every day, at least for breakfast and dinner. We've never been here at lunch, and I think a lot of teams and a lot of people aren't because they're out on the course. But the crews do, and you can get your lunch to go. And the food's been pretty good. Not a lot of vegetarian options, but I make do, and I always throw a little extra in for the road trips that we do every day on Dakar. Behind me is the stage where they celebrate the leaders and the winners each day, and they have constant videos playing from what's going on in Dakar. They're really well done. These guys are doing as good a job as we are. I'm impressed. There's also Dakar Club off to our right. Of course, here in Saudi Arabia, no alcohol. These are all, what do we call them? When I was a kid, Shirley Temples. And there's really good food here in catering. I like it here in the morning too. I eat a big breakfast to get me through to dinner. And all these crazy people are going thousands and thousands of kilometers. The assistance route alone is over 4,000 in the route book, but that doesn't include what people like us are doing, where we go to the start and the finish of every route. If we're going to be going well over 4,000 kilometers, I expect 3,000, 3,500 miles, like across the US and halfway back. And the racers are going a lot further than that, and they're doing it in the desert. It's just a moving caravan of a city. Here in Riyadh today, the largest city in Saudi Arabia, we're surrounded by 7 million people driving crazy, trust me. But a few kilometers outside of town, there's almost nobody. Some Bedouin tents, usually black with white stripes and one door in and out. I don't know how they live there in the summer when it's 115 degrees. A few, almost no plants. This is a dry country, a very dry country, except for a few nights ago. And camels, we've seen a lot of camels. I've learned that one bump is a dromedary and 2 bumps is actually a camel. That's how the French describe them. It's really, for me, wonderful to be part of this adventure on this wagon train that's going all over the country chasing motorsports. You make it through Dakar, you have really climbed a mountain that almost nobody else has. 5,000 miles of desert racing really beats up a vehicle, I'm sure you can imagine. We came by these bikes yesterday and there was nothing but bare frames, the skeleton. They had removed every single nut, bolt, wire, plastic, wheel, chain on the entire bike. And we go to the same extent on our own team at Rebellion Racing. I was shocked last night when we walked by the garages at Rebellion and the engine is sitting out in the street, being hosed off and cleaned up. They're serious about finishing this rally, and you've got to be. You can't just cross your fingers. On a rest day, the whole day is dedicated to making sure that the machine is in the best shape it can possibly be in to make the finish and to keep its driver, rider, co-driver safe and even comfortable. It's a long way. And finally, here we are back at our own mini city. It's a village. It takes a village to run Dakar. Let's look at Rebellion Racing and what Rebellion has brought here to Dakar, which is not unusual. We had the 2 race cars in an inflatable garage with 2 garage stalls and then a driver lounge, which is also used for the massaging and the care by the trainer of the drivers. On top of that, we have an entire wagon train, let's call it, of motorhomes, kind of like the Old West. And when they roll into town, they circle the wagons, 5 motorhomes, and put out the awnings and a floor and a kitchen. We have a kitchen trailer and a chef on our team. Alex insisted on that because he wanted to eat well the whole time because they're working hard out there. And that's like the comforts of home, traveling with us. On top of the motorhomes, we have a little city of tents where Seth and I are sleeping, and a lot of the mechanics, we're camping in the tents a lot of the time. And that's going to be good from here on out because it's warming up. Makes me happy. Behind me, we have a portable shop. This building is hauled up onto a truck with a giant hydraulic lift. And it's kind of a race shop. They've got machine tools in there and spare parts, and several of the teams have them. I've never seen anything like this in the US. It's pretty cool. Behind that, a full-on race semi that I have seen at every race. Almost every big team has a full-on race semi. Then we've got 3 street vehicles just for running people around. Seth and I are driving one of them. We have a group of Alex's very cool friends who are along for the rally. And on top of that, 2 race support vehicles that drive the rally route. They're actually entered in the race, both of which have been able to bring disabled cars home to be repaired and get back in the rally. We're a village of our own, and many of the teams are their own individual villages or neighborhoods making up the city that is the bivouac.